Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy CJ Beasley here, back again. Today we have yet another battle video from the UBLN, excuse me. This week we are taking on the one and only Finley, coach of the Toronto Tepigs. Definitely, I don't know if he has a YouTube channel, but if he does, definitely go check him out. I'll link it down below if he does. I'll have to find that out for you guys. He's a really great battler. I battled him before. He's such a good battler, so definitely check him out. If he does have a link, I will link it down below. But anyways, guys, if you didn't check out last week's, go check it out before I spoil it. So 3, 2, 1, spoilers coming at you. We won. I believe it was a 3-0 win. So we are 3-0 on the season at this point, with a plus 12 differential, I want to say. So we are looking really good. The season's going great so far, and I just hope to keep this train rolling. So looking at the team he has, just hopping right into things, he has Kartana, Dugtrio, Komo'o, Silvally of any type he wants, the Bronzong, Audino, Tapu Fini, Toxapex, Musharna, Tangela, and Mega Absol. So things I noticed is that my Mega Lopunny outspeeds his entire team, and the only thing that gets closest outspeeding it is the Absol, I believe, is his fastest mon, just looking at it. Maybe Dugtrio. No, Dugtrio is his fastest mon. So Dugtrio is his fastest mon at 120, I believe. So besides that, my Mega Lopunny outspeeds everything outside of that, which basically means that it can just basically put in work this week. Other things I noticed is that his team is like it's pretty slow, to be honest, but he has some good different options for speed, like the Kartana, like the Dugtrio, like the Mega Absol, like a Dragon Dancing Komo'o. So I'm gonna have to definitely watch out for those kind of things. And he doesn't really have the best rock setter either. His best rock setter is either Bronzong or Dugtrio, which, I mean, those aren't obviously too bad of rock setters, but you know, like, he just doesn't have the best options, so you definitely are going to expect it on one of those two mods. So this kind of makes it a little easier to prep for. I guess Komo'o gets it too, which is pretty nice for him. So anyways, guys, so just going to hop right into things. So first, we got Why So Serious, the Darmanitan, with the Choice Scarf, Sheer Force, with Flare Blitz, Earthquake, Zen Headbutt, and U-Turn. So it has the 68 HP, max attack, 4 defense, 4 special defense, and 180 speed with the Jolly Natured. So this outspeeds a +1 Komo'o if he's a max speed Jolly set. So it's basically like a check to that if he can get a Dragon Dance up, and I can get this in. Zen Headbutt's doing about 75%, I want to say, to a not super bulky Komo'o. So if I can get a little bit of chip on that thing, this thing can come in and pick up the rest of it. Flare Blitz, Earthquake, and U-Turn are great. Basically, U-Turn spam is basically going to be the name of the game with this Darmanitan, like it pretty much always is. So I'm just going to be spamming U-Turn, and then when the time gets right, I can click Flare Blitz to be dealing big damage, and the Earthquake just to pick off things like the, like the Toxapex or something like that. So yeah, so this is it's pretty basic set. Not a whole lot to it. Basic kind of Choice Scarf Darmanitan, but it'll definitely put in work this week, I feel. Next up, we got Jessica, our Mega Lopunny, with the Lopunite, Limber, Return Facade, High Jump Kick, and Power Up Punch. So it has 68 HP, max attack with a Jolly Nature, 44 defense, 4 special defense, and 140 speed. So this basically outspeeds a Jolly Dugtrio, which is going to be the fastest thing on his team, unless it's something Choice Scarf, obviously. So that was kind of the tier I want to hit, and the rest, I just poured all the attack I could in there, and I just kind of spread around the IVs. I believe this lives a Jolly Sacred Sword from a Kartana, if I'm not mistaken. So that's just kind of what I wanted to do with those IVs, or excuse me, EVs that were left. So I have Return Facade. Return's obviously going to be the primary spamming move on this Mega Lopunny, but I have the Facade here. Honestly, I was going between Facade and Quick Attack, but I thought the Facade would be a little bit better just in the fact that Toxapex could potentially burn me, or if he has Baneful Bunker, he could get the poison on me, which is not going to be great. So I can click the Facade and be dealing huge damage to anything. So I thought that was pretty nice. High jump kicks there, obviously, just for the return and high jump kick combo that you typically run on the Mega Lopunny. And then the power punch is there just to maybe like pick up something and get the free +1 for basically for free. So pretty basic Mega Lopunny set, except for like Facades, like a little bit of a wild card, but for the most part it's a pretty basic Mega Lopunny set, and I expect this to put in work as well. Next up we got Cousin It with the Leftovers and the Chlorophyll. So I'm just going to let you guys know right now, it's not supposed to be Chlorophyll. This was a miss build on my part, miss gen. I didn't catch it when I was genning my team. So typically you want the Regenerator on the Tangrowth, obviously to get that HP back, and that's what I was going to go for. But you know, I just kind of, I goofed. I forgot to change it. There's not a whole lot to say about it, but I just basically messed it up in the building process, and I didn't catch it when I was genning it, so that is a mistake on my part. But anyways, moving on. You'll see it come into effect in the battle too, which is kind of unfortunate. But moving on, we got the Giga Drain, Hidden Power Fire, excuse me, with the Aerial Ace and the Leaf Seed with max HP, max defense, and 4 special defense with a relaxed nature. So Giga Drain and Fire Punch Hidden Power Fire were kind of needed on this set this week. Giga Drain pretty much hits everything outside of like Kartana, and the Kartana doesn't appreciate taking Hidden Power Fires. And so this kind of gets walled with just Giga Drain and Hidden Power Fire. It gets walled by the Ko-Mo-o, and which isn't that too big of a deal, because I could Leech Seed it. But if he is a substitute Ko-Mo-o, you know, I really want to be able to break the substitute and not have to hard switch out into anything to break the substitute. And if he is substitute, obviously I can't Leech Seed it. So I actually decided to put Aerial Ace on there. It was originally Synthesis, but a Aerial Ace from an uninvested Tangrowth to a Ko-Mo-o breaks the substitute every time, as long as he's not too bulky. So I thought that was really useful, just so basically I wasn't set up fodder to a Ko-Mo-o. So that's just kind of where we went with that. Synthesis probably would have been nice this week, just because I didn't have the Regenerator, but you know, whatever. So, anyways, this is my primary check to stuff like the Dugtrio, like the Tapu Fini, like the Kartana. Mainly is the Kartana. Can take hits from the Kartana all day long, so that's pretty nice. So yeah, so this is basically just a physical wall for his physical threats. So next up, we got the Milampai, the Klefki, with the Okaberry, Prankster, with the Play Rough, Foul Play, Magnemize, and Defog, with max HP, 4 defense, and max special defense with a Careful Nature. So basically what the set is, it's hard to explain. So basically, it was my primary check to the Mega Absol, as Mega Absol kind of runs through my team. If you look at my team, nothing really wants to take 2 hits from it, so that's pretty unfortunate. Especially if it can get up to +2. So I have the Okaberry there in case he's like a Fire Blast Mega Absol. Play Rough is obviously there to hit that thing hard, hit the Ko-Mo-o hard, something like that. Excuse me. Originally I had, I want to say Toxic instead of the Foul Play. But I changed it to Foul Play, as this set is extremely passive to Bronzong, and I don't really have the best Bronzong switch-ins in general. So I decided to change it to Foul Play. It also hit the Kartana harder than Play Rough could. It just kind of hit those kind of things a little bit harder than Play Rough could, and it didn't make it so passive against those things. With the Magnemize, obviously, if Dugtrio tries to trap me, I can click Magnemize, get off the ground, and it basically can't touch me at that point, and I can just spam Foul Play or Play Rough or whatever I want to click. And then Defog's obviously there because Darmanitan doesn't appreciate rocks, so I definitely want to keep those off my field, off my side of the field as much as possible. So that was pretty nice to have Defog on there. So yeah, so this is my primary check to the Mega Absol. Like I said, it can also mildly check a Ko-Mo-o as long as he's not a Belly Drum set. If he's just a standard Dragon Dance set, then I can check that thing accordingly. So yeah. So next up, we got Mighty Mouse, the Mew, with the Fightinium Z, Synchronized, Zen Headbutt, Superpower, Roost, and Bulk Up. With some weird EVs. So we got 244 HP, 76 attack, 44 defense, and 4 special defense with 140 speed and a Jolly Nature. So this thing speed creeps a Ko-Mo-o as long as it's not boosted, so just a basic Ko-Mo-o. That's max speed it creeps at, which was the benchmark I wanted to hit. And then at that point, I was like, okay, this thing is primarily there to counteract the Mega Absol. So I basically made it to where a Bulk Up when I could get up to +1 with a bulk up, a Sucker Punch wasn't to a KOing me. So it did, I believe the calc was like 44 to like 90 or 49.7%, something like that. So I thought that was super nice. We had the Phitanium Z to make super power just a nuke against pretty much anything. If I can get up to +2, a Phitanium Z into a super power KOs a Bronzong unless if he's super physically bulky. So that's super nice. And then the Zen Headbutt's obviously just there for the stab option. Also it's to hit stuff like Tapu Fini, stuff like that. So yeah, so this is a really weird set, but I definitely think it could work. This coverage pretty much covers everything on his team that he could have. Super Hit Power hits the Absol, like I said, it hits the Kartana, stuff like that, and Zen Headbutt pretty much hits everything else that Super Power doesn't hit, or I guess the other way around. So yeah, so really interesting. Bruce is obviously there for longevity and stuff like that, so definitely expected this to put in work, and it could potentially even sweep just depending on the situation. And oh, excuse me, it's also a very good check to the Tapu Fini, as I can just basically Roost, bulk up, stall that thing into Oblivion until I can get up to +6, as long as he's not taunt set, so that's really nice. And the +1 Zen Headbutt, even if he's max physical defense, is a 3 KO anyway, so. Next up, we got LeBron James, finally, with the Nidoking, or is it Nidoking? With the Sugar Berry, Sheer Force, Sludge Wave, Power, Fire Blast, and Stealth Rocks. With 76 HP, 52 defense, 244 special attack with a modest nature, 4 defense, and 132 speed. So actually, I'll have to look back. Okay, so I think if I'm remembering this correctly, I believe it creeps a Tapu Fini trying to creep something. I think it was a Tapu Fini. I think it creeps a. Oh yeah, okay. So a Mew is 100 base speed. If a Tapu Fini tries to creep that Mew, a non-invested Mew, I'm basically creeping that Tapu Fini. That's basically what that speed's for. Almost max special attack, modest. Just to basically hit things as hard as possible with this coverage. Basically hits everything on his team, and Stealth Rocks are there obviously to hit things, or just to hit things on entry. So if I can get Stealth Rocks up, and the Dugtrio comes in, and even if he's Focus Sash, as long as I can get the Stealth Rocks up, I can click the Earth Power or the Sludge Wave, I can't remember, I think it's the Earth Power. I can click the Earth Power, take the Earthquake even though I'm trapped, with the Sugar Berry, it does about 60-ish%, so as long as I'm not too chipped down, and then I can KO it back with the Earth Power after Stealth Rocks damage. So that was kind of the idea going into this build right here specifically. It also decently checks the Kartana, as long as it doesn't get a Beast Boost or a Swords Dance Boost or whatever. So that's pretty nice, stuff like that. So yeah, so this is a pretty basic set. I guess not really basic, but the coverage is pretty basic. With the Sugar Berry instead of Life Orb, obviously. It's kind of slower, bulkier, just kind of taking hits and stuff like that. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm feeling good about this set, to be honest with you. And this team, like, I feel like we have a really good shot of winning this game. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna stop talking, like I said, and we will just hop right into the battle video. Alright guys, so we're back. So looking at the team he brought the Komodo, Tapu Fini, the Kartana, the Dugtrio, the Bronzong, and the Audino. So really surprised, honestly, not to see the Mega Absol here. It was definitely something I expected him to bring. It had such a good matchup this week, but I'm not going to complain at all, as I didn't really have a switch into it, so I'm not going to complain, like I said. Besides that though, I pretty much expected everything that is here, so it's not too big of a deal. So lead-wise, I'm just looking at his team, and I'm like, okay, potential leads could be the Dugtrio, and if I can Magnerize on that thing and just kind of catch that thing off guard, that'd be great. Other lead potentials is Tapu Fini or the Komodo. So either way, I think the play is going to be lead the Klefki. I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit. Okay, so the play I think is gonna be the lead the Klefki. If he leads like the Tapu Fini, I can't really do much to it, but you know, I can I have recording, or I have good switch-ins to it, so it's not that big of a deal. So I'm just gonna lead the Klefki and kind of just see what he wants to lead. So yeah, so good luck to my opponent. Like I said, he's a really great battler, so definitely go check him out if he has a link, and I will link it down below. But so he actually leads a Como, which is absolutely perfect for me. It kind of tells me that he has Stealth Rocks on it, or at least it makes me suspicious that he has Stealth Rocks, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a setup set. So I'm just going to click the foul play here. I could have doubled out, and I was contemplating it, but I just decided to click the play rough here, just to see how much damage I could do. And based off of this Finley calc, it does about 15%, so I know this is pretty much max physical bulk, which is really great information for me to have. So at this point, I'm just going to go out into my Mew, as I know I can pretty much set up on this thing all day long. So he's actually going to go for the substitute. So here I'm like, okay, this is pretty much free setup. The worst thing you could probably go for is either a Taunt or Nature's Madness, and so I get a free bulk up at this point. So I'm just going to go for it. And we see that the Tapu Fini actually does go for the taunt here, which is totally fine, because at +1 I can 3-hit KO this Tapu Fini anyways, or roughly. So here I am forced to go for the Zen Headbutt, which is fine because I know I'll break the substitute. So I'm just going to click that, as it does break the substitute like I said, and we don't miss it, which is absolutely perfect. And so here he's just going to go for the Moonblast. And it shouldn't be doing too much, it should do about 25%, which is totally fine. And he actually gets a special attack drop, which doesn't matter, but just notice that he got one special attack drop so far. So gets a special attack drop, whatever, gets the Moonblast off. I go for another Zen Headbutt because I am taunted, and it's just free damage basically at this point. It does a nice like 25-30%, and he goes for another Moonblast. It does another 50-ish% to me, or 25%-ish, and he does get another special attack drop. I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I just think it's funny that I got back-to-back special attack drops. So here I'm just going to click the Zen Headbutt again. I know I can live whatever he wants to go for, even a Surf won't KO me at this point, and or another Moonblast, I guess they're the same base power. But he's going to click Moonblast yet again, I will live that, and he gets a third special attack drop. So if I was a special Mew, like I originally built, that would have been so annoying, but it doesn't matter. I just thought it was funny. So here my taunt wears off, and I know I can freely roost now. Even if he goes for a taunt yet again, that'll totally be fine. But here he's just going to click the Moonblast. And so here I know I can freely roost yet again, or I can go for another bulk up or Zen Headbutt. I probably should have... Well, it's arguable. I think roosting was the best play here. And so here I probably should have switched out. The Toxic was fairly obvious, as he really couldn't touch me outside of clicking Toxics, which was probably most likely going to be his play. But I decided to click Bulk Up again so I could Z-move him and kind of just see based off that damage. So he will go for the Toxic, which is not unexpected whatsoever, but it's fine. It's not too big of a deal here. And so here, I try to synchronize him, but obviously it won't work because he's a steel type. Take a little bit of toxic damage, and here I'm just going to throw off my Z move. So I'm just going to throw out my Z move like I said, and we're just going to see how much this does. If he's a physically bulky Bronzong, it will be doing about 75%-ish max, but if he's more of a special, it'll do like 80-85%, somewhere in that ballpark, so we'll just have to see. So we're going to be hitting him for big damage. It does about 70-ish%, so that's telling me he's more physically bulky if anything. And he sets up his Stealth Rocks, which is totally fine, as I know I can defog those away later with the Klefki. So he's going to get a little bit of leftovers recovery at this point, and I'm going to take some more toxic damage. And so here, unless if he has a Protect, I will be KOing him with the Superpower, and he actually does show the Protect, which is super surprising. If he would have gone for it last turn, I would have been so upset, but he didn't, so perfect. But he goes for the Protect here, just kind of slowly wear down my Mew just a little bit more, but I know based off of the Z-move damage, I should be KOing him with another Superpower, or just a raw Superpower. Tries to go for the double Protect, he doesn't get it, and I will just be clicking the Superpower here, and picking up this KO with my Bronzong. Or, excuse me, against this Bronzong with my Mew. So here, this next turn on Toxic will bring me down to about 30-ish%, 25% roughly in there. And here he's just going to go out into his Kartana, which will obviously outspeed me, so I don't want to stay in, as this Mew I do feel like has more value to me like later in the game. So I will go onto my Tingrowth, and I know I can live any hit from this thing easily, as he does just go for the X Scissor, which is actually pretty surprising in my opinion, but it doesn't do nearly that much. So here, obviously, I know I can live another X Scissor, and I expected him to want to switch out, as I could easily hit and Power Fire him. So I go for the Leaf Seed, but he actually goes for the Z move, which is super unfortunate for me, as I basically waste this turn. So I kind of overplayed there. But you know, like, I didn't really expect him to have the Buckingham Z. To be honest with you, that wasn't like my first thought. But it's really good prep on his part, so. We're gonna see this animation play out, and I most likely live this most of the time, and I do live it. So I go for the Leaf Seed, obviously does nothing. Get a little bit leftovers recovery, and I don't want to give him a free Beast Boost. So I go out into my Club Key here, as I know I can take 2 of any whatever hit he wants to go for, even if he goes for a Smart Strike. So I'm going to go on my Club Key, take a little bit of rocks damage, take the Smart Strike, and it brings me to exactly half, but I know I can take another one pretty easily. So here he's going to switch out into the top of Finny, as I click the Defog, because I'm really sick of these rocks wearing down my team slowly, and I really want to get Darmanitan in as soon as possible. So I'm just going to click the Defog here. And so at this point, I will be going, I believe I go back out into my Mew, if I'm not mistaken. No, I go into my top of Finny, or no, excuse me, I don't go into top of Finny. I go out into my Tingrowth here. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I can switch Tingrowth back in, I'll get a little bit of Regenerator boost, and at this point right here, I realize, oh crap, I am not Regenerator. That's not good. Which is super unfortunate, because this game would have totally played out way differently if I would have been Regenerator, I feel like, but it's alright. So here he's going to go out into his Komo, as I just click Giga Drain. I didn't really have a better play. Even if I wanted to read that switch in, it wasn't really going to matter. So yeah, so here he's going to get a little bit of leftovers. I'm going to get a little bit of leftovers and the Giga Drain recovery, bringing to me about 25-ish%. And he actually clicks a Substitute, which I was like I was starting to panic here, but I was just praying that he wasn't super bulky. So I'm going to click the Aerial Ace, and we see that the Aerial Ace doesn't break the Substitute, so he is pretty bulky, which is super unfortunate for me. So here, I'm going to get some leftovers, he's going to get some leftovers, and at this point I'm like, well crap, if he's a Belly Drum set, I pretty much just lose. But he does click the Drain Punch, so it tells me he's not a setup set, which is absolutely wonderful, and he's going to get a little bit over recovery, but I'm going to be able to click the Aerial Ace and break the Substitute, which is totally perfect. So here, Substitute will break, like I said. We're both going to get some leftovers recovery. This game's pretty slow, to be honest with you. We both have like leftovers on like pretty much everything, so he's going to here set up another Substitute, which is totally understandable. And at this point, I'm like, okay, maybe Aerial Ace was a roll to break the Substitute, so I'm gonna try it again, see if I can get it this time. And we see right here it doesn't break the Substitute, so I'm pretty sure it's not a roll at this point. I'm pretty sure he's just like super physically bulky, and whereas I can't really break the Substitute. So at this point, he's gonna click the Toxic, which is totally understandable. But it's really surprising that he has Toxic on Bronzong and this Komo, even though he has the top of Finny on the set, which is like super surprising to me. But he's gonna click the Toxic. I'm gonna click Aerial Ace. And so here, like I said, I click the Aerial Ace, and you know, I don't want to be stalled out by this Toxic with him having the leftovers and whatever. So I'm gonna make an aggressive switch out at this point, as I take some leftovers and get damaged by the Toxic. So I'm going to make an aggressive switch out into my Mew at this point. If you went for the Drain Punch, it was fine. If he tries to set up another Substitute, it's also fine. I just basically didn't want to get stalled out by that thing. So as long as I can keep breaking Substitutes, it's going to be totally fine. Because if I can get into Darmanitan while he doesn't have a Substitute, I shall be fine.
But I'm just going to go for the Roost at this point, just kind of get recovery. Unless if he has Shadowfall, he's not going to be 2KOing me with anything. And he goes for the Earthquake, so we're going to basically just kind of see how much this does. And at this point we see it does not even a quarter of my HP, which is absolutely wonderful. So he's going to get some more leftovers recovery. And I shall take a little bit more toxic damage. And at this point I know I can break the substitute easily with the Zen Headbutt. And so it will break the substitute like I said. And he's just going to want to click Earthquake here again, as he doesn't really have any other play, because we've seen his full set at this point, having the Drain Punch, Earthquake, Substitute, and Toxic. So at this point I know I can live I can take this round of Toxic and deal big damage to whatever he wants to go out into, or if he wants to stay in or whatever. So here he actually switches out, and which I expected. So I click the superpower. If you want to go on Dino or Kartana, it would be totally fine. So I click the superpower, basically just trying to hit anything as hard as I could. So I will go down to the toxic damage, unfortunately, but that's not too big of a deal. And so I get him pretty low at this point, and I know I can live an Earthquake even if he's Choice Scarfed and go for the Power Punch. And he actually goes on to the top of Finley, which is totally perfect, because after a Power Punch, a return, even if he's max physical defense, will be KOing him. So that's awesome. So I will go for the Power Punch, like I said. It would have KO'd the Dugtrio if he would have stayed in. So yeah. So I'm going to Mega Evolve here, like I said, and go for the Power Punch, and we see it do basically negligible damage, but it's not about the damage, it's about the boost. So after this round of leftovers, like I said, I know I will be KOing him with the return. So I'm going to click that, and we will be picking off the Tapu Fini. And at this point, I'm pretty sure my Megalopen he can sweep. So here, his Como is about 70-75%, somewhere in that ballpark. So I'm running the calcs, and unless if he's like max HP, max defense, a high jump kick will be KOing him from this range at +1. But as I am doing that, my finger was hovering over the A button, and I accidentally clicked it. So here, instead of clicking the high jump kick, I clicked the return. And I know that won't be KOing him unless he was like not bulky at all. And so we see he lives on about 10% HP, and he goes for the Drain Punch, and I'm like, crap. If I would have clicked the high jump kick, he told me to set afterwards, and if I would have clicked the high jump kick, it was about a 50% chance to KO at that point, and I probably would have slipped at that point. So unfortunate the misclick, but it's whatever. So I'm just going to click the return again. I know it will KO this Como, and he doesn't really have a switch into return at this point. And so here he's just going to go into this Dugtrio, and at this point I either expect him to click the Sucker Punch or he's Choice Scarf, but I can't really do anything about either of those since I am trapped in. So he's just going to click the Earthquake, so I know he's Choice Scarf. Probably would have had the Quick Attack, we actually probably would have swept this game, but it's alright. So here he KOs me with the Earthquake, and I know I can easily go into my Tangrowth, as I know at this point that he is a Scarf set, and I expected him to switch out. I should have clicked the Leech Seed because the Kartana would have been super obvious, but I clicked the Hidden Power Fire in case he wanted to go Kartana, which was a dumb play. He never really goes Kartana there as long as like that he knows I have the Hidden Power Fire, or expects me to have the Hidden Power Fire, and Audino was super free on me, so I shouldn't have clicked that, but whatever. What are you gonna do about it? So here I'm just basically gonna let my Tangrowth go down. It doesn't really have a job since it doesn't have the regenerator at this point, so it's fine. So I'm gonna let this thing go down. And at this point, okay, so the game plan at this point was basically spam Flare Blitz until I could get myself low enough, because he's gonna Wish Protect on me, right? And so he's just gonna try to wear me down with my own Flare Blitz recoil, which is fine. So the game plan was to get low enough to where he doesn't want to click Wish again, and like basically have a misplay to where he doesn't want to click Wish again. He tries to attack me, and so he doesn't get any leftovers or the wish recovery, and so I could go onto my Nidoking and KO this thing with Nidoking, so I don't get trapped in basically with my Darmanitan, because I don't want to be trapped in, because the moment I get trapped in, the Dugtrio comes in and outspeeds me and clicks Earthquake, so that's not the play I want to make. So I'm trying not to KO this thing. I know another one won't KO unless if I get a crit. I'm just trying to wear myself down at this point. And unfortunately, we get the crit. So yeah, so we get the crit, which is extremely unfortunate. That's not really what we wanted to happen at all, but you know, it is what it is. So he's gonna go for the Earthquake, and at this point, I don't really see a way for me to win. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So my only out is going into the Klefki, having him stay in, or either, okay, so there's two plays. So I could either foul play, try to pick off this Dugtrio, but if he Earthquakes, then I lose the game. But if he switches into his Kartana, it'll be doing decent damage, and I could potentially get him with 3 of them. So, or I could, if I protect him to stay in, I could go for the Magnetize, then go up and then click the foul play. But unfortunately, I go for the Magnetize, and he does switch out, which is a really smart play on his part. And I will click the foul play here, and he does actually click the Swords Dance, so I'm like, okay, maybe this will KO. Didn't really expect it to, but and it doesn't. And he's actually pretty bulky, as it did only about 60%, so that's pretty bulky Kartana. So he does just click the Smart Strike, and at this point, a +3 Kartana always KOs Nidoking with whatever he wants to go for. And I expected him, because we've seen Smart Strike, Sacred Sword, or Smart Strike, X-Scissor, and Swords Dance, so I expected them to have Leaf Blade at this point, and there's no way I was loaded a Leaf Blade. So good game to my opponent. Made a couple misplays, misgen some things. He gets a crit, but it doesn't really matter. So anyways, yeah, we're going to lose this game at 2-0. Not that big of a deal. It sucks to lose, obviously, but it was honestly on me. It wasn't anything with the game. So anyways, great game to my opponent. He's such a great battler. So anyways, guys, I'm going to stop talking. Hopefully we can get him next week, and I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.